Welcome. My name is Nathan Martin, and this is the Week in Review, March 19th, 2013. A little under 60 days until the election on May 7th. Hope that you all will go out and vote, and I hope that by then I earn your vote. For you that are new to the broadcast, here in UStream, they do play commercials. So I'll be talking straight through, regardless of what you're seeing. If you miss an important detail that you're hoping to catch, then you can always download the video in its entirety on YouTube as well. You can also view it at nathanjmartin.com/campaign. All right. As always, you can always get a hold of me on Twitter at Nathan Martin, and on Facebook, it is facebook.com/NathanJMartin25. Right. Meeting with a lot of people in the community, and decided to start going out door to door in earnest this week, and it's an exciting time being able to meet with the fellow citizens, my neighbors here in Shelby, as we talk about what we're trying to bring to the community, and that is just a sense of communication. So disconnected sometimes from the policy people and the leaders who make decisions. It's important that engagement goes both ways. So I promise you that I'll be an accessible, engaging city councilman. Second is sense of community. There are a lot of things that are going on in the community that we have a lot of reasons to be proud of. But we can do more to bring us together and to get that sense of community back here in Shelby. Part of that is getting us back to work here in Shelby. Part of that is getting new businesses and exciting ideas in. Part of it is infrastructure, whether it's paving programs, our streets go around town, and or different facilities that the courthouse, or hopefully in the future new fire station. We also have new parks coming in as well. Talk about that in a little bit when I deal with City Council. Common sense conservatism, and probably the number one question I get: what is common sense conservatism? Come together as a community. There's nothing that we can't do. A lot of times, the government stepping in and doing those things is a progress that we typically could do on our own. So what we're trying to do is have the government be efficient and do the things that it's definitely supposed to do. Fire, basic services, things that it doesn't necessarily need to be involved in. We need to engage the community. That's common sense conservatism, and a lot of that has to do with the fiscal balance, just balancing the books and making sure that didn't get very many questions this week. I am hoping as we do this more that I'll get more and more questions. Also get questions that you would like to get the answers for. On Monday, I went to the city council meeting, and there was a lot of second readings and first readings. There was a couple things that were passed. They didn't appear to be all nothing that wasn't discussed previously in the Globe. So no big surprises. Probably the biggest thing that happened was John Makeley, the park board president, lives. He gave a presentation about what the park board is doing. a lot of capital expenditures coming up in the park department. I think I added them up. We're getting some of this money back through reimbursements, but I added it up. It's about $500,000 we're spending on projects, whether it be amphitheater, the new town. All those projects coming together are going to definitely beautify the downtown area, but they do come with a pretty hefty price tag. So it seemed to me from his talk that there was not much engagement between the park board and the city council, and it looks like he's which was good. All right, next Monday at 6 p.m. is going to be the floodplain management. I'll be trying to attend. Well, it's definitely up there. What are we doing about the flooding? The perception is that we're not doing much about it. The reality is we're doing a lot of things behind the scenes. I applaud this administration for doing that. Hopefully make things better. One thing that worries me, though, is that, I mean, it doesn't necessarily worry me. If we get the thing fixed, it's a good thing. But what worries me on another basis is what happens if we get it all fixed, and will people just be satisfied with the fire department's facilities that we have instead of trying to work towards getting some new facilities? Told me by, well, if we get the floodplain fixed, then not a big issue to keep the fire station we have. Maybe going out on a limb here, but I think it is a big issue. I had a chance, I know I said this last week, but the video was completely mumbled, so I'll repeat. I was able to go down to the fire station week before last. I was able to have an excellent professional firefighting team. And I think that's something that we definitely can be proud of. At the same time, the facilities that are there are not necessarily the greatest things to be proud of. And I think that our firefighters and our first responders deserve facilities that are on par with the excellence they display for the city. Pointing to push this to the forefront in our minds, even after the police station's built, even after the courthouse is built, we still have some things that we need in the city. It's going to be nice to have a new park downtown. It's great to have an amphitheater downtown. At the same time, we have some of our first responders and firefighters who they just deserve something better. Definitely something that I support. Firefighters. Work to get a levy passed if that's what it takes. My understanding that it's going to cost between $1.4 and $2 million for new facilities, and this is in talking to both the fire chief and to a member. Came together as a community, and we're building a $500,000 park, and surely we can come together for a community fire station facilities we need. Let's assume that the flood issue is still going to exist. Even if we lighten the flood issue, it's not going to be completely resolved. And what's going to happen then? We're going to have fire equipment on one side of the river, fire equipment on the other side of the river. Never the twain shall meet. And what happens if the equipment that we basically gamble, the equipment that's on one side of the river is needed on the other side? What happens to response times there? not to mention the undue burden that we're putting on our firefighters. Short-sighted, and then we need to start thinking long-term. Unfortunately, the fire station was taken off of the ballot. Now, one thing I hear when I'm going around is that, well, what are we going to do with the old fire station? Because we don't want to see it torn down because it is a historical relic, for lack of a better term, in our community. Now, my first response is, when we are openly referring to our fire station as a historical relic, it might be time to get a new one. Second, no one's saying that it has to be torn down. I'm definitely in support of doing what some other communities with older firehouses have done. Park department buys it and maintains that property. There are options out there. So it's not necessarily well, once we get a new fire department, it's just going to tear the old one down. I don't know of anybody who's really pushing for that. There's also a possibility of selling it to a private developer, maybe for a restaurant or something along those lines. I know in talking to members of City Council that it's important for them and important for me that it's the right fit. We don't just want a developer to take over it who has a history of going halfway with other projects around town or in the area. So we definitely want to make sure it's the right person and it's the right buyer, it's the right fit. But at the same time, again, that doesn't involve tearing the thing down. That's a scare tactic, and enough on that. But we definitely need to work hard because it's an economic development issue as well. We have a technologically state-of-the-art police force. They're going to have new facilities with the jail. We have a very good firefighting corps. We have new trucks down there. But again, when we want to get new trucks, it costs us more money because we have to spec fit them to what we have versus normally what garages have for. I've belabored the point enough, but I think I support, and as councilman, constantly and consistently forward, because it's only been 140 years. So maybe we should start going towards that. All right. The Community and Economic Development Coordinator, Christina Thompson, gave a talk on community gardens. So if you like to be if you're interested in taking part in the community gardens, she's those who would like to be involved with that. We're also working with local charities to pump in to give to the needy in our community. So I applaud them on that effort. That's that. I'm going to touch on a couple questions that I touched on last week because, again, the poor quality of the video, and I apologize for that. Our internet. The Verizon Tower, questions I get on the Verizon Tower. The City Council has approved that. Permits have been all approved, and guys, it's going to start building that new tower here in the area in May. The Verizon store, when I went to the Verizon store, they had that the City Council was holding up the new tower. When we do the permitting, we do it for 1 year. Verizon National opted not to build during the first year, so they did, so we're planning on building in May. So that's on the Verizon Tower. On update on the electric, the facilities director is looking to put a approved diesel generator out by the water plant here before long, and I'll give you more information on that as it does. The reason we're doing that is, again, to supplement the loss of the coal-fired, but also that is it on those two questions. If you have any questions on the right-hand side of your screen, you can chat bar, you can ask questions there. A few moments to do that, and if not, we'll go ahead and wrap up. While we're waiting on that, it's kind of a campaign update. About campaigning. It's my favorite part. Why it's number one on my priority. It's number one on my campaign pledging. Communication. I enjoy being around and being accessible to you and answering the questions. I'm sure by now many people at City Hall are tired of my asking questions, and they don't necessarily like it when I'm calling. But there's a lot of questions that are important to you guys, and you guys have felt that you haven't got the answers you feel you deserve. And I agree with you. I think you do deserve those answers, and I'm trying to get those. There are no questions, and so that's it for me. Again, I greatly appreciate support. You can communicate with me on Facebook, facebook.com/NathanJMartin25. It's also on the right-hand side. Twitter.com/NathanMartin, @NathanMartin. Always follow me on there. And then, of course, NathanJMartin.com/campaign for information on the campaign. And, of course, you can help make all this possible if you're willing to vote for me, but also willing to financially support me. Thank you guys for your time, and I look forward to talking to you again next week. You can get in your questions on the events page of my Facebook page, or ask me the questions on Twitter or on the campaign website. And look forward to talking to you, and we'll keep the